Wormy Addington, and there's four of us, the big boy. Oswald Thomas and I. We were the biggest boys in school. We got all them kids, all 47 of us, to come early. And Oswald Thomas and I climbed up, got a broken off limb down there and leaned it up against the porch of the school to get on the porch and climbed up to the belfry. We put a cloth glove on the clacker. I can't even talk. And then we put a rubber glove over that and tied it with twine string. We come down and got all 47 of those kids from the primer through the 8th grade up in that big oak tree, just wherever, and the bigger kids was holding the smaller kids. He drove up in his buggy, and ever since he had been there now, that year, some of us boys would go and help him unhitch and take the harness off of the horse. Then one of us would ride him down to the branch down at Oman's and water him, bring him back. Then time for school. Well, that morning we were all in that tree, and the old fella drove up, looking all around. He unhitched, took the harness off the horse, and led him down to the creek. Watered him, come back and hitched him, and he come back looking all around as he walked toward the schoolhouse. Stepped up on the porch and turned around and looked all over the playground. Then went in to rang the bell, and it had just thunk, thunk. He come back out after a few minutes. I don't know how long he stayed in there, but he come back out looking all around. And one of the kids sort of snickered a little, and he looked up in that big tree, and he come out, oh boy, he come out all fluffed up like a sitting hen just fresh off the nest, telling us what he is going to do to every last one of you. Well, we just sat still. And he flustered around for a few minutes, and after a while, put his hands behind his back and walked around out there, and directly looked up, and he said, "It's time for books now, kids, come on down." And we helped them kids all down and went in the church. He never did say a word to us about it. He just went right on with the school work just as if it hadn't happened.
He took that for April fool, didn't he?
He finally figured it out and took it for an April Fool's joke.
Oh, that was pretty good. Yeah, okay, Uncle Scott, what was this about now?
One Saturday night I had a dream, and I was back at Nixon's Chapel in the Albertville district with an old friend that I've been with in dozens of revival meetings. And I was preaching from the text, "He that believeth shall live, and he that believeth not shall be damned." And as I closed the service, I just simply repeated my text and said, "This invitation is to every damn person in this congregation." And when I realized what was happening, I was sitting right up in the bed with my mouth open wondering what in the world has happened. And the next morning in our home church, as I closed the service, I thought I'd tell the church about my dream last night, and I did. And one of my best friends I've been working with for 13 years try to get him in the church. Sort of wiggled around back there and got up and came to the altar. I baptized him, and I thought, well, the Lord knows what he's doing sometimes anyway, doesn't he? But I was embarrassed to even tell my dream as a part of my text at the close of the service there, and been working with this man for 13 years at the same church. And then him get up and come for
Isn't that something? Just never know how the Lord's going to work, do you?
he works in mysterious ways.
Yes, he does.
Why I chose that day to tell my dream, I don't know.
Isn't this?
I didn't know, but
Yeah.
I'm beginning to understand now that
Right.
there's something else than just me up there.
That's
Did
right.
you make him get down? Okay, I got one tail.
Okay,
Can I
good.
come over here and sit
Yeah,
with
that'd
you?
be real good.
Move out. Move. Well, excuse me, but I got to sit down by Daddy. Would you please move? Okay. Okay. Listen to this story. I want to tell this story. When I was in the 11th grade of high school, we came up here one summer to visit. So Mother and Daddy and me and Bob and somebody else. Who was it, Daddy, that we went out into the woods? And I don't know how the chickens got together, but me and Mother and some other lady, I forget who it is, was on one side, and Daddy and Bob were on the other side, and was walking along, and Mother is scared of snakes, and I am scared to death of snakes. And so we were walking out in the woods, and all of a sudden, Daddy got Bob's gun and shot a snake that was this long. And you tell her.
That was on the day before Christmas, and we was down on the old health place.
I thought it was in the hot summertime.
It was hot.
Oh,
It's the
okay.
day
Let
before-
him tell the rest of it because I was so young, you know.
Last year.
We were walking down beside the fishing hole where we used to fish when we were kids. And one of Bess's, one of your grandsons.
Somebody was with us. I forget who it was, all the people. But Bob was with you because, Bob, you took the gun out of Bob's hand and shot that snake. Woo.
We were walking down, and we used to go along the bank and with a gig and gig them big suckers and take them and eat them. And I was looking for a sucker sitting up there, and I was going to shoot him on the day before Christmas. And it was hot. And walking along there on the little trail, something like 24 to 36 inches from the water's edge. And if it was Bob, I don't. Anyway, whoever it was said, "Uncle Scott," and I stopped and looked around, and he said, "Look about 12, 14 inches to the right of your foot." And I looked down there, and there was
Big old snake.
a cottonmouth that had come up, curled up there, and he had his head up, and I just right down like that, shot that snake right through the head.
And I was
I told him-
across the creek, and I screamed bloody murder. I thought somebody had died. Huh.
Something did that.
I know, but I thought it was people instead of a snake.
And whichever one of the boys that was with us, I said, "Now we'll have to cut us a stick and carry that snake back to the house, or they won't nobody believe
That was a big
that we killed a
snake.
snake in the wintertime."
It wasn't one of these little bitty ones like that. It hung down off that stick. You couldn't. Oh, it
It
was
was about
big.
32 or 3 inches